I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahamaland to the foundation.
Good afternoon, ladies and gentlemen. If this is the foundation, grateful to be with you another day, another time, to be able to jam and talk about all the things that we do from a national perspective. Always being able to identify these things and being able to chop it down. I know I am not necessarily the most liked at this time, especially because of the questions that I have for some of these things. It's just questions. Don't fight me, baby. Come on, don't fight me. You fight me. Don't fight me. I mean, listen, you got to go through these internal things by yourself. You got to make this kind of a determination by yourself. You got to be able to identify with your own people how you can go through what you're going through by yourself. In your internal caucus, you got to be able to identify whether or not these things make sense. If you put these things out, what kind of scrutiny? It seems as though that there is an expectation that we just swallow anything. Come on, man, no pun intended, no kind of explicit innuendo associated with that. We ain't swallowing that. We just need more information. Don't fight me, baby. Just give me more information. The Free National Movement, the PLP, came out with this kind of a concept, and this will got me fired, you know. The PLP, you know what is get me in problems? This kind of an inquisitive nature. This inquisitive nature that I have. There's sort of an idea of being able to probe beyond the presentation. Come on, man, talk to me. Let's just talk. We're talking today, okay? This issue that I've had, is I probe beyond the presentation. I probe beyond the pronouncements. So I need to know this don't make sense. I know this don't make sense. I know 1 and 1 is 2. I know 2 and 2 is 4. I never knew that 6 and 4 is 28. I never knew that. I didn't know that 6 plus 4 is 28. What do you mean? You mean multiply? I don't understand. And so the relentless probing And the position that I've taken to be able to identify these things has placed me in a very precarious position, I believe, nationally. And I think that that's why I've been sort of the target for some persons for this particular perspective, because I'm not looking for you to beat me. I'm just looking for you to engage me in conversation to make me understand. That's all. I'm not looking to diminish your organization and your plans associated with how you can believe. Listen, my probing should be able to cause you to move towards me. Because if we could be able to capture the imagination of Howard as he probes even when we're not here, then I believe that we can be able to get more people, if there exists any more like Howard. So bring the information and let's talk, unless you're not confident in it. Unless you just want me to kind of just swallow that thing. I can't do it, baby. I can't do it. Don't fight me. I can't do that. You said, no, you just... I can't do that. I can't do that. That don't make a lick of sense to me. And this is what I mean. So I just want to be able to be very clear with you and have this kind of a conversation to talk about what we're doing and where we're going. All right. So it's a beautiful day. Always grateful to be here. Grateful to be in the neighborhood. Would you be mine? Could you be mine? Would you be my neighbor? Guys, it's a beautiful day, man. It's Thursday. Check the obituary section in the papers if you're not there. All right. You're okay. You're okay today. You're safe for now. We'll hold our breath again until next week. But you're safe for now. My God. Check the obituary. Check the thing out. Make sure you pick up your local dailies and see exactly what's happening around the country. Around the world. Been around the world and I. Listen, I'm so excited to be able to be here with you and have this kind of a conversation. I feel liberated. I feel free. I feel no holding back. Yeah, I feel like there is a real opportunity for us to be able to get somewhere, even if it's for the annals of time and history, for us to recognize that there was a niche. There was a remnant, there was a sector and a subsector that always wanted to be able to question these particular things. There were people that had a desire to be able to know more than what was being presented from a political standpoint, from a social standpoint, and otherwise. There were relentless probing. There was probing done. And don't fight it. It's okay. It's okay. You don't have to hate me because this is the profession I chose. Just be decent, baby. I'm not going to fight you. I'm going to ask you questions. I'm not going to fight you. Let's talk about these things. There's a great deal of things in the papers today. I want to chop the thing down and really be able to look at it. You can look at the Guardian newspaper. Senior cop charged with Americans' murder. U.S. ambassador says that he's pleased that the charges were brought. Okay, Pintard. Grand Bahama Power Company acquisition, a gamble with taxpayers' money. That's peculiar. It's peculiar. It's peculiar. Begin to dive into that. Davis defends plans to acquire Grand Bahama Power. Plane makes emergency landing and on Maguana. Davis says that Pintard is desperate. Desperate. Let's check this thing out. Oh, okay. Let's check these particular things out. Pinto says that the FNM would ensure that there is an independent oversight for the police force. Ain't everything you got to chomp at. Ain't everything you got to take a swipe at. Ain't everything you got to bite at. Ain't everything you got to reach for. Ain't everything you got to say. Ain't Everything. You ain't got to be able to bring that. It ain't everything that you need to say, baby. Listen, I just trying to be decent with you. We found ourselves in this kind of a position of being able to identify what's happening around the country. And more recently, in the wake of what's happening with the Pike employee that was murdered, obviously, by the hands of the police and the senior police officer charged. We're going to read that story and be able to find out more about it. Everything you don't necessarily have to take a swipe at to identify the supremacy in it. Everything you don't have to be able to kind of climb one step beyond the authority that's established. It's crazy. I listened to something this morning, right? I listened to something this morning. I want you to be able to listen with me. And I thought that this was peculiar. We can listen to this together. And I thought that this was peculiar. I stopped it here, so we'll listen to it together. But I thought that this was peculiar, and I thought that this was sacrilegious in my mind, in my estimation, in my mind. This is
Benjamin Netanyahu said he's actually not trying to be moral.
You know, if people want to be naive, that they don't see the kind of world we're living in.
This is Benjamin Netanyahu.
In this world, it's not enough to be moral. It's not enough to be just. It's not enough to be right.
Well, after that, he said that there's an author he admires. His name is Will Durant. He highlighted a quote from one of Will's books. This is going to let you know how he's thinking. This is the kind of ally that America has.
Which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan.
Let's pull that back a little taste so we could hear it together.
Because if you are strong enough,
Again, this is the kind of ally that America has.
which he said, well, history proves that, unfortunately and unhappily, Jesus Christ has no advantage over Genghis Khan. Because if you are strong enough, ruthless enough, powerful enough, evil will overcome good.
I actually stopped it right
Aggression
there.
will overcome moderation.
I stopped it right there. I stopped it right there. Benjamin Netanyahu, in this particular capacities, as leader, being able to identify that and having a close allies, being an ally with the United States of America, has this kind of a posture. And if we know from a spiritual standpoint, we know that the spirit of the leader embodies its people. Yeah, from biblical principles, that the oil flows from the head down to the feet. We know that, right? So the spirit of the leader embodies the people. There's sort of an idea for hope and restoration, revival, realignment, and being able to do this. If this is the spirit of the leader, then this is what embodies. This is what falls fresh upon the people, right? You don't have to get spiritual with me. You don't have to do that. You just relax, okay? Okay? You need to stop, okay? I'm not getting spiritual. I'm just trying to let you know principles. Anytime I tell you anything, they're seeing spirituality, obey, witchcraft, voodoo, all these things like that. They're seeing no kind of a Santeria. They're seeing nothing like that. All this is principle that existed before you was an imagination in your father's lower quadrants. Let's just be decent. Amen? Before you was an imagination in your father's quadrants, the lower extremities. Let's be decent. These principles existed. You keep fighting me for principles. These principles, I don't care if you believe it, you don't believe it, these principles. You will see one day. My God, you can see. Every one of us can see. We had to come from somewhere. You believe the Big Bang Theory bring us here. I am tired of this foolishness. Someone had to make us. Someone had to make us. Somebody had to make us. Because as long as I've been waiting for money, the universe ain't sent it to me the way I want it just yet. But all of these ventricles and veins and arteries and bone and marrow and everything running up and down me with precision. Talk to me. I just got to be very clear with you. Some of these natural aspects don't work. There has to be someone else with the provocation of being able to make these things happen. You got to provoke this. Even faith without works, you still got to work this application of being able to see the thing just turn into something else, it ain't gonna work. You got to put your hands to this thing and work it. I can't get no amen. I just feel like I'm getting preachy with y'all sometimes, but I got to do this sometimes. I got to let you know. I mean, if I got to be able to scream my faith and make you to understand that this is where we're coming from, then this is where we're coming from, okay? Now, I'm listening to this and listening to Benjamin Netanyahu, and I recognize that the spirit of the leader, the spirit that the leader carries, that the spirit that falls fresh upon the supremacy of this particular jurisdiction is what you could expect to be represented throughout the body. Come on, man, let's talk. Throughout the body, okay? If you got a teeth, if you got a, these things just happen, okay? You may not necessarily like it, but these things just happen. These things just happen. Now you're seeing the perpetuation of things fall fresh upon your community. You don't understand why these things have happened. It really make me to beg the question, the relentless murders that we've been seeing over the past 30 years. I got questions. I got questions, baby. I got questions about the spirit of the leader. And then I'd like to be able to do a little bit more of that probing that I tell you about. This dissecting, just to be able to find out some more information. And so as we identify these things and have this kind of a conversation, I thought about it. I thought about this spirit that recognized things from an earthly, superficial, carnal perspective and make a determination that the one that so many books from historic standpoint globally, the world over, has celebrated, perpetuated, has lifted up, has glorified, has worshipped Jesus Christ. And so Netanyahu and his desire to be able to identify supremacy beyond imagination has quantified in his mind the supremacy of God, sacrilegious, and contrast that to the supremacy of man. And essentially, just like the Marvel movies, said that the opposite of good is hatred. Is fear. The opposite of love is fear. And in the embodiment of what he says is that if God is a representation of love, and that exists at the supreme, at the top, at the pinnacle, then at the absolute bottom is not necessarily hatred, is fear. To be ruthless, to be maniacal, to be unhinged, I suppose. And if you could be deep and dark enough, you could have more power than God. This is crazy. It feels satanic. It feels like this is a chapter in Aleister Crowley's book. It's what it sounds like and feel like to me. And we identify these things and we just have these kind of a conversation and recognize this and talk. And I realize that it feels like in Pintar's relentless pursuit for cementing his feet politically and making you to identify his strength, it seems like he's climbing above the norm, above the tradition, above the established, to be able to make you open your imagination to something that's not the norm, but to something that can possibly, not necessarily probably, but can possibly work. Pintar says that today it's in the Guardian newspaper, guys. You can be able to pick this up. Let's see. Let me show you this. Pintar says FNM would ensure there is independent oversight of police force. Let's read a little taste of this and see exactly what's what. Hold on, wait. Let's see what's going on. I got to pull this close and see what's up. So it says Free National Movement leader Michael Pintar says yesterday that the Free National Movement administration would ensure that there is independent oversight of the Royal Bahamas Police Force, RBF. We want the Prime Minister to get back on to the big issues. This is what he said outside of Parliament. We are prepared to provide independent oversight to the police force. We are. We are prepared to make sure that the conditions under which they work include insurance and gratuities that are owed to them. Right? He goes on and says that the bigger issues are you truly prepared to shake the tree and make sure that the bad apples in government, not just the police force, drop out and are dealt with? I don't believe that he's after that task. I don't believe he's after that task. I suppose it's up to. Anyway, this is what he says. He says, I don't believe that it's after that task, nor is he committed to it. Pintard said, instances involving law enforcement should involve swift justice. Similarly, we would have talked about swift justice with respect to the case involving all the explosive voice notes. That's what he said. He says that if a government is inclined to get to the bottom of a matter, they would move quickly. And so we can basically tell when this administration is committed to resolving one matter rather than another. In all cases, we believe there ought to be swift justice. I think he's extremely ambitious. I think his articulation, his desire, his insight, his feverish approach to be able to make you to understand beyond your perceived notions, make you to understand beyond the traditional thinking that you have, make you to understand beyond the rhythm of what people tell you, such as, man, like, Pintard ain't ready for this kind of action, man. That man, he ain't got no experience, man. He young, he only is a poet, man. He only this, he never do nothing. He never had a job. His enthusiasm to make you to understand and to accept him beyond the naysayers, I think that ambition is rich. I think it's a good ambition. I mean, I'm not going to fight him for it. I think all of us have to have this kind of a greater goal and an objective for our lives, as opposed to being able to live in this kind of a space of complacency. So I like his ambition. I like his goal. I like his push. There's sort of a desire to be able to get above and beyond. But if we look at these particular things, I don't think he recognizes the necks that he's stepping on, the feet that he's stepping on, the unintended subtle insults that he levies against the established. For a person that's sitting outside of Parliament, outside of the establishment, outside of government, outside of the agreed quadrant of leadership in this particular country, I think we, as participants in terms of citizenry, as observers with proximity, I think we can be able to render these sort of commentary. I think that we can sit down behind a microphone or in a letter to the editor or any of these particular public spaces that affords us an opportunity for free speech. I think that we can do this. I think it's a great opportunity for us to be able to do this. But Pintard, in his particular capacity, to be able to identify an established position, the position that continues to be able to protect him, a position that he's a part of this entire thread of leadership in the country, to reject it is bananas. Is bananas. And it was sort of a rejection without grace, because it seems as though though he's indicated that there are bad apples and that you got to shake this kind of a tree, there is an approach that I believe that, and we've talked about this for a while, and being able to talk about it throughout the uniform branch, it's corruption. And I think it needs to be said with clarity. It's corruption. We need to be able to deal with corruption in this country. It's corruption. And it's a difficult thing to have a conversation with and about corruption. It really is. Especially when accusation has been levied against you and other members of your team. In fact, these accusations have been levied against the entire trifecta of the Free National Movement. When I say the leadership trifecta, which is leader, deputy leader, and chairman, there has been accusations and social allegations levied against you. And while you're looking from an external standpoint, you got that one finger pointing at the Royal Bahamas Police Force. There's three fingers pointing back at you. Yeah, because, you know, before you come and take the beam from my eye, you got to take the log from yours. You got to be able to deal with your issues and deal with it thoroughly before you can come. And especially if you live in a glass house, the difficulty in throwing rocks is that you never know whether or not your hand is straight enough. Especially when you can't see the glass. It's difficult, man. It's difficult. I like Michael Pintard's ambition. I like his articulation. I like his poise. I like that he's new to the game. And he wants to be able to bring something different. But I find it hard to believe him. I find it hard to believe him. And what's frustrating to me with Michael Pintard in comparison to Lincoln Bain is that I know Michael Pintard has a real chance of being prime minister. You can't carry these notions, ideas, perspectives into that seat when you step over the threshold of leadership and you become the prime minister for all and sundry. You would recognize something. You got to double back on so much things you said. You got the backpedal and backslide and moonwalk. Backstroke. You got to do everything. You got to reverse back. You got to do everything. You got to come with the same lame line that they left the cookie jar dry. We ain't got no money. We have to borrow $385 million. We got to borrow $1.4 billion just to be able to keep survival in this country. We have to do this. We have to go in agreement. You got to stop, man. Is if you understand that governments are continuous, and you know this, man. You know this. You can't put your foot in your mouth. Now, I ain't saying you got to play it safe. And that ain't what my intent is. I don't want you to play it safe. I want you to play it real. Don't hit me with this kind of a fallacy. The reason I contrast you to Lincoln Bain is because Lincoln Bain could tell me anything out of the damn clouds. He could freaking lasso a whole cloud and yuck it down here, hold it in his hand, and say, what I see here is, and I will take it for what it is. I can take it for what it is. I can take it. I realize he's ambitious. When I was in the DNA, Howard, did you think he was going to win? Only if Jesus Christ wanted me to win, I was going to win. I didn't think I was going to win. I know one thing. I had to show up. Baby, I got to show up. Listen to me. I tell you all before, I've never been afraid to cut behind. Never. When it finish, it finish. Then it finish. I could take a cut hit. I could give one too. Praise Jesus. But when it finish. Just like work. I see people, I got this fella trying to do my truck, right? I had this one guy doing my truck. And I give him everything he needed, and I tell him I can pay him. I was prepared to give him the money and everything to do something for my truck. I want a specific thing done for my truck, right? I want, my chassis is bent a little bit. I bought it. And when I bought it, it was mashed on the side. Now you thought it was like a cosmetic something, no problem. I fix it up and everything. Next thing you know, my tire was doing like this a little bit, right? And I said, oh, Jesus. Inside of my tire, I keep rubbing. I didn't like it. So I kept dealing with it. I kept changing tires. It kind of, people stopped me. Hey, your tire, you need to fix your tires. Jesus, I can't drive my truck like this. Listen, the truck don't have 100,000 miles yet. The truck got 80,000 miles right now. Right now, today I bought it with 40,000 miles. At 80,000 miles right now today. Beautiful truck. Listen, it could pull a house. Beautiful truck. I love my truck. And I bought a chassis for it. I bought a chassis for the truck, the frame for the truck. Now, what is required is for you to be able to pull the top off the truck, switch out all the stuff, the engine, the transmission, everything, put it on the frame, make the frame good, and you can put the bed back on the thing, all right? However you can figure out to do that, that's what needs to be done. How much you can charge me to do that? Boy, Howard, boy, this can cost you, boom, 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 whatever they say. I say, okay, no problem, I'll pay it. But you need half now? Hold on, I can't take your half now, man. That's a lot of work. Hold on, buddy. You're confusing me. We, as black people, have a tendency. No, let me fix that, because it ain't all black people. Because I got some Haitian friends will just get it done. I got some Jamaican friends will just get it done. Some Dominican friends will just get it done. We as Bahamians, maybe because of our proximity, we look at it and start to articulate in depth and detail the amount of work it'll take to get this particular thing done. And in our mind, we seek to be able to expand the number that you just give me that you say you can do it for. You talks too much. Shut the hell up and let's get the damn work done. You talks too much. What we looking at it? What you looking at it? Straight the dishes. The dishes they just eat from. And they just compile and pile and pile and pile and pile up on the desk, on the table. And then I say, wash the dishes. There's so much dishes, man. Hillary got to wash the dishes too. Daddy, Destin got to. This is too much. This is too much. You're looking at it and you anticipate that it's going to be too. All you got to do to eat an elephant is take one bite at a time. Don't care how big it is. You could eat a building one bite at a time. Let's get the work done. That's it. That's all we're here to do. When our time has come, it finish. We finish. Let's get the work done. This relentless pontification about what you could do and what all these things, that's all our politicians have been giving us. A bunch of talk. Well, you know what's going to happen is what's going to require is that we find ourselves in the position that affords us an opportunity to be able to ensure that those relationships are intact. And as those relationships continue to be able to blossom and foster the type of relationships that we can find legacy with. And what the hell are you talking about, bro? Let's get the work done. This is the issue that I have. I think this relentless pontification about being able to almost be a one-upper and put yourself in the position where you are better and you can outthink and you can outsmart, sometimes put your foot in your mouth. And I don't know whether or not the position of the leader of opposition business, Her Majesty's leader of the opposition business in the House of Assembly, or leader of the opposition in the House of Assembly, I don't know whether or not his job is to be a chairman, an anti-chairman for the government of the day. It's an anti-chairman. Yeah, it's a chairman that perpetuates the opposite of what's happening. No matter what happens, no matter how good it is, this chairman has a responsibility for being able to dissect it, swim through it, and expand upon the minute negative that may exist. Because every analysis has threats and weaknesses. Yeah. And so we push past the strengths and the opportunities, and we look at the weaknesses and the threats. And we expand upon that sort of a micro concept and we pull it and open it and yuck it and widen it and then present it to the public for social ingestion. And it is giving us acid reflux. This is too much. You are part of an organization, a part of a thread, a part of a grouping. You're recognized. You are duly elected, identified in this particular capacity. You're identified by your organization to be placed here. You are now a part of a grouping. You understand these particular groupings because you joined the lodge. You understand the fraternity. You understand the tradition that exists in these particular capacities. You understand all of these things because you joined the lodge. And make me understand some things about you. You joined the lodge. So you understand and pay homage to respect. You understand and know your position and your role. You understand that there is a succession plan and you need to be able to take these incremental steps. You're doing that. But now you come in the paper and tell us we will supersede all these particular things to get to the objective if you vote for us. This is bananas, man. We watched this before. I watched this before. I'm mad at you. Like, I ain't gonna cuss you or nothing like that. I ain't gonna say nothing wrong. And I ain't gonna say, there's nothing negative about you. I'm just simply saying that to do this is politically irresponsible, especially if you're looking for longevity. There are some that can do this that sits on the outskirts. That's why I contrast you to Lincoln. I have no problem with Lincoln. I just don't know whether or not Lincoln's organization as a whole has structural the structural chains and steps, those tears to take to understand what exists at the top. I don't know. I try to be as diplomatic as possible as I say this. I don't just want to be able to relegate everybody to idiocy. I can't do that. Some people call them the coalition of idiots. I won't do that. But I'm looking at the organization, and I don't know whether or not the organization as a whole has the necessary elements to cause them to rise to a pinnacle of undeniable success in this country. They have those elements of being able to tantalize your emotion. They have the elements of being able to capture imagination. They have those elements of being able to cause people to gather. They have those elements which any organization would have that can be able to cause people who agree with you to follow you. They have the basic elements, the rudimentary grassroots concepts and elements to be able to do this. But as it relates to those steps to take to succession, the steps to take to get to the top floor, I don't know whether or not they have that. I think, let's do this. I think organizations like We March, you remember We March? With John Boswick and Reynard Henfield? I think that organization and I think that the country knew that the organization had the elements, the education, the exposure, the understanding, the poise, the experience in their personal lives and perspective to be able to make a significant run at it. I think they did. I think the Democratic National Alliance, the only challenge that people saw was that Branville was a little bit vain. They look at Branville as a little bit vain. And they were afraid to put him in this kind of a capacity, not knowing where this vanity would take us, right? But he had businessmen, he had lawyers, he had doctors, he had and people who were top tier. Wayne Monroe was a part of this particular thing. Jeff Butler was a part of this thing. I was a part of this thing. Osmond Johnson was a part of this thing. Who else? I could see. Theophanis Kouchimagoulis was a part of this. Dario Torelli was a part of this. Wallace Rold was a part of this. These are great men and they do an awesome job, man. They do an awesome job in any field that they was in. In every field that they was in, they represented with an undoubtable posture. You knew what they were doing. You knew who they were, and you watched them. You listened to them. The DNA had a great opportunity to do some wonderful stuff. When you look at the BDM, when it comes to Cassius Stewart, Cassius has great ambition. But when he sits before the camera, but what's being said behind the cameras about Cassius is what his challenge is. How people perceive him off the mic is what his challenge is. And the allegations that he's unable to work with people, work well with others. So it is. So when you look at these particular things, I could sit down and talk about the DNA. I could sit down and talk about the COI all day. And the prospects that they bring to the forefront, I can't tell you that these elements don't have legs that they can't stand on its own. I can't tell you that. But I can tell you that where they came from, this space of imagination is a beautiful space. It's a great space. But we have to shave the excess clouds that exist on the perimeter of these issues to pull them into reality. And once you start shaving the clouds off of these concepts, once you start moving the clouds, you would realize that this ain't enough information to pull to reality. That's what I did with the housing yesterday. That's what I did. I wasn't trying to diminish anything. It was a wonderful idea for housing. But for who? For who? When it comes to sustainability, when it comes to the persistence, when it comes to opportunity, when it comes to long-term payment of these particular things. So for who? For who? For who? You can give these people $48,000, $58,000, $68,000 in 18 months, 24 months, you lose your house because circumstances shifted. Nah, man, tell the government, give me a piece of property. Yeah, do that. Howard Grant, we're going to give you this piece of property, just like what the Free National Movement did in the first term, the concept and idea what it was going to do with Prospect Ridge. We can give you this piece of property for 2.5 years. You will have the responsibility to develop this property within 2.5 years on your own dime. The government of the Bahamas would say that this is your property. We can give this property to you. But you, to build on the property, you have to choose from this, and this. And then making these particular decisions, you get to be able to do that, but you have to do that within 2.5 years. Now, we could build 5,000 houses like that. You could build 5,000 houses like that. And then you make a stipulation. You say, listen, once you hit these goals, you say, Howard, we need your bell cost to be done within X amount of weeks. Boom. We need your house foundation to be done within X amount of weeks. Boom. After you get to that, we could be able to check off and say, okay, Howard, you're doing good in this particular capacity. We like how you're moving well, you're doing well in these particular ways. Okay, no problem. Now, the next step, we expect you to be able to lay your blocks and get to bell cost by this time. Boom. And once I could be able to meet those marks, then, okay, be great. You give me the property. Give me the property. Let me build my own house. Give me 2.5 years. Let me build my own house, me and my wife. Don't build no house for me. Give me 2.5 years. Give me the property. Let me build my own house. Yeah, that's it. I mean, come on, let's be straight with it. We can be straight. Now, that could work. That could work. And if I don't get it, you take it from me, you give it to somebody else. And let them go. That could work. Let everybody be responsible for their own home. That could work. The government identify project managers and foremen and other persons could be able to give an oversight of the construction on this particular thing. Look at the quality, look at the consistency, look at the development, look at these particular things, make sure everything is done properly, and they could be able to certify and sign off our home. No problem. That could work. That could work. It does two things. Psychologically, it puts skin in the game, my skin. I got skin in the game now. This house belonged to me. I just didn't see somebody work on it. I put my blood, sweat, and tears. I sacrificed to make sure this is done. Psychologically, I have to make sure that this is successful. That could work. And then you do something simultaneously. You say, hey, as a result of these particular things, the government is favored to look at married couples. Listen, anyone could get the house. But the government would assist married couples, especially couples with children, swiftly to ensure that they could acquire these particular things. Subconsciously force people into a real decision in this society. Force them into formality. Everybody playing the skirts. Everybody playing the outskirts. You got to get some skin in the game, baby. Marry the woman. Do the things the right way. Oh, Howard, you ain't gonna leave her alone then? You didn't put miles on the woman, jumping up and down and all the time. Jesus, God, you think somebody else? Ain't nobody into that. Ain't nobody into that. Leave the woman alone. Leave her alone for more than one reason. So she could get some time to do some introspection and reflection of how much she rowed in that last relationship and understand that I can't do this going forward. So you got to leave her alone, give her some space and some time. Let her catch herself. Let her catch herself. I can't take no woman from you and you she just leave her man, she coming with me. All around she was given to the fella, she bringing it. I ain't got time for that. If you ain't ready to make a formal decision to marry the woman, leave her alone. It's time for us to be able to become more formal in this society. It's time for us to be able to make decisions for growth in this society. It's time for us to be able to get back to righteousness in this society. If you ain't into that, and you want to be a baby mother, and you want to be a statistic, and you want your children to be a statistic because they ain't call you bastard no more, you ain't think they thinking it? Huh? Because they don't articulate and open their mouth to you and say you's an outside child, you ain't think they thinking it? We got to be able to be decent, man. All these birth control out here, all these Bible out here, first and foremost, for you to understand the right way to go, the righteous way to go, you decide to err in the way of sin. And you don't want to be called out on it. Yeah, all of sin and fall short of the glory of God. But if a man falls 70 times 7, you got to get up, baby. The only reason people continue to condemn you is because you've never gotten up. You've never sought after formality. You've accepted the position that you were in. The government could assist you with that. The government cannot legislate morality, but they could create environments and create an atmosphere that you can be able to gravitate with clarity. That's it. These fellas are too smart to be doing these things. I don't want you building no house for me. Give me the land. And I'll build my own house. Yeah, I could build my own house. I could stress out my contractor. I could build my own house. Give me access to those things. Forge a relationship with Dominican Republic to bring in all the cement and the concrete. You know what? That's going to put these people out of jail. No, all that's going to do is make sure it's capitalism and free enterprise and free market. Make sure that they reduce the prices. That's simple. That's simple. The government give me access to these things, similar to what you get in Freeport. You get a bond. And so the bond gives me access to certain aspects of things because I'm building. And I could show this particular bond, this qualification, to be able to verify me, and you could sign it off in the system. Hey, how you doing? I just brought in furniture, stove, this, that, all. I think some of these things are duty free already. But whatever you bring in, you say, I just brought these particular things in. I'm building a house. The government just gave me this particular thing. All right, Mr. Grant, you have something? Yes, right here. Bleep, beep. Boom. They scan it. They identify it. Duty free. I pay the VAT. We move forward. For the full 2.5 years, anything that I bring in, including a car, 2 cars tops, because if they're married, you got to bring in 2 cars tops. everything duty free for the full 2.5 years. I bring in things from China. I bring in things from, of course, I got to pay for my own shipping. Only thing I pay for is VAT on these items. And the government releases that concession to me to be able to build these things. I'll build my own house. You ain't got to worry about me. We got to think, man. We cannot let our ambition and articulation and the belief that these old fellas ain't got it and just release any information into the public realm. For me, it's just, it defeats the purpose of your objectives. It defeats the purpose because you got people like me, not me, people like me that is going to dissect what you say. And that has the ability and has an audience on a day-to-day basis that can be able to deliver this information to them. And then now we could scrutinize this. What took you 3.5 minutes to say? We could talk about that for a week and a half and tear that down and make you look like you don't know what the hell you was talking about. You got to vet this with the people around you, man. You got to vet this information. Just to say it just casually is not enough. You got to vet it. Does it make sense? Does it make sense? Davis says that Pintard is desperate. Prime Minister Philip Davis yesterday slammed the Free National Movement political campaign and called the Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard desperate, as he suggested that the party is riding on the coattails of progress made by the Progressive Liberal Party. During the launch of the PLP candidate from Southern Shores, O.B. Roberts' headquarters, Davis compared the PLP's achievement to campaign promises outlined by Pintard, while stating that the PLP is fixing mistakes made by the Free National Movement. This election is coming down to the very basic question. Let's look for A6. Hold on. This election is coming down to the very basic question. Who is steady enough to lead the country? Who has shown the judgment to lead the country? Wanting to be the prime minister and being ready to be the prime minister, Davis did not finish his statement. He continued, he is prepared to say anything, damage anything, and risk anything just to win. Let me tell you something. A fella who willing to do anything is one of the most dangerous fellas in the world. I hear fellas say that. And they say that, oh, I want to be rich so bad. You never watch these stories. You don't watch documentaries. Oh, I want to be rich so bad. What's the fella name who's played the guitar so good? Johnny Camp? I can't remember what his name is. All right. There's one of these guys. He said he was he met the devil one night. He knew it was the devil because he asked him what he wanted. And he said, I wanted this particular thing so bad. And let me tell him, I said, yeah, you could get this thing and we could do this and we could do that for you and that ain't no problem. But you just got to be able to give me your soul. Fellas who are willing to do and say anything to get to their perceived desire, their imagined desire, this fixed position in their minds and in their hearts, fellas who are willing to do anything to get to that are the most dangerous people in the world. Now, I can't say that I see the Prime Minister being able to kind of state that and put those boundaries or release the boundaries from Michael Pintard to indicate that this is what he's intending or this is what he would do. That position is crazy to me. I want some things bad, you know. Oh, God, but there's some things I ain't willing to do. Things strange for change? Jesus. Do a little something, do a little strange things for change. The devil is a liar. The devil is a liar. You got to stand for integrity. You got to stand for integrity. And guess what? These are the same people who come back and tell you how much they pray to Jesus Christ for this opportunity. They're going to Jesus Christ. They're going to Haile Selassie. They're going to Aja, the Obeah woman. I don't know what her name is. I just simply put that there. It's too much, man. It's too much. You're trying everything and just hoping something stick. Let's read a little further. It goes on to say, that's why they sound like a party trying to catch up when the government has already moved on. We are fixing it. They made the problems. We are fixing it. Davis referenced recent claims made by Pintard regarding reports that the people with fraudulent passports were on the voters' registry, which led to officials revealing that 98 cases of suspected passport fraud are under investigation. He called Pintard, who made the claims in the House of Assembly and presented 2 lists of names as supporting evidence, irresponsible. He's trying to tell the Bahamian people and the international community that the government is selling passports, Davis said. That is reckless. So I keep telling you, man. I just finished telling you this. I just read this story. I didn't have a chance to watch in the House of Assembly. This is what I'm telling you, man. I hope that Jesus something stick. Maybe sensationalism would stick. Maybe if I say this and I amplify it, suppose I embellish this particular thing, maybe this could stick. Suppose I do this, maybe this will stick. And you don't know that you're damaging your representation and your reputation because you sit in the capacity of a part of leadership. You already, as the leader of the opposition, you already sit in the part as a part of leadership. You just can't say anything. You just can't say anything. You just can't blurt it out. You just can't say anything. And just say anything. You can't do that. Listen, you can't do that, man. You can't do that. I'm mad at you. I can't tell you what to do or what not to do. This is irresponsible, man. But this is what y'all do. This is what y'all do. The WikiLeaks already tell me what y'all do. Y'all just go into these particular entities, you go over to the U.S. Embassy, you have these conversations, these candid conversations, and you vomit your guts out on not only factual information, but perceived information that floats, hearsay, all these things. You just vomit it on the people table and just leave. I don't think you see value in yourself. If we sit in this particular capacity with a desire to be able to talk down on ourselves, our brothers, our sisters, and continue to be able to have this kind of a discourse and conversation, then you don't see value in yourself. We got to fix this. We got to fix this. We got to do better than this. You got to be more responsible with this. Cuban president says that Raul Castro involved in U.S. talks that are in the early stages. Okay. Gamble. Let's start from page 1. Let's read a little taste of this. Freeport Free National Movement leader Michael Pintard said yesterday that the government's plan to acquire the Grand Bahama Port Authority, the Grand Bahama Power Company, is a gamble with taxpayers' money. Madam Speaker, we've read these resolutions carefully. We examine what the government has told us, and more importantly, what it has not told us. That's what he said in the House of Assembly and Parliament, debated the resolution related to the government's intended purchase of the Grand Bahama Power Company that starts on A3. And then he goes further and says that the conclusion we have reached is simple. The public plays while the PRP gambles. This is the preposition, Madam Speaker, before the House of Assembly today. The government gambles with the country's finances, the Bahamian people pay, and the government's decision often go wrong. And that evidence that it could go very wrong is not theoretical. It's documented. Yeah, it did. It was documented when the Free National Movement purchased the Grand Ukiah. Anyway, that's just neither here nor there. Let's just talk. He says that, and it is starring hold on, what does that say? Staring? S-T-A-R? Hold on, let me come. I gotta see these things, you know. Where was I? Okay, it's just staring at us from the top public debt figures. This country has been quietly accumulating in the electricity sector for years. The resolution included one that would allow the government's special purpose vehicle, Grand Bahama Energy Company Limited, to borrow $200 million to assist in the purchase of the Grand Bahama Power Company shares. He says another seeks permission to borrow $80 million from the Royal Bank of Canada to assist with the capital expenditure of the GBC upon the government's acquisition of it. Both loans would be guaranteed by the government. That means if Grand Bahama Energy Company cannot repay the bank, the government of the Bahamas steps in and pays. And if the government pays, it is because the taxpayers of the country, every Bahamian from Managua to Abaco, are on the hook for that bill. $280 million guaranteed by every Bahamian, not by the residents of Grand Bahama alone, not by the customers or the consumers of the power company alone, not by these folks in here who are well paid, but by every Bahamian in this country. And what do we want? And what do we get in return? We get ownership of a utility company that has been financially challenged for decades, with no published valuation, no disclosed liabilities, no tariff model, no capital plan, no independent assessment that the price being paid is fair, or that the $80 million will be sufficient to do what is needed to be done. In January, the Prime Minister, Philip Brave Davis, announced that the government had signed the Memorandum of Understanding with Emera in respect to the Grand Bahama Power Company, noting that the government's intention to assume control of the power company. Is in a statement the following day, Emera said while it did sign a Memorandum of Understanding with the government, there is no final agreement and at this time. However, Davis maintained that the plan for the government to acquire the GBC, Grand Bahama Power Company, is and that it would, and that those in the rest of the country. You can read the rest of that. in the papers whenever you get a chance to be able to do that. If I was in the leader of the opposition capacity, Howard Grant, with all my experiences and background, I don't think I would go against the government blatantly for the government's push for acquisition, not only of the power company, but for transparency and financial access, or sort of a force of hand for the Grand Bahama Port Authority to do what they have to do. I don't know if I would be in opposition of that. I don't know. I don't know if I would be in opposition of that. If I didn't have direct internal relationships, if I didn't have the proximity to the Grand Bahama Port Authority and understood the value or the potential that it can be able to bring for reform, growth, and development for Grand Bahama, I don't know if I would be a proponent that speaks on behalf of the Grand Bahama Port Authority or the Grand Bahama Power Company. I don't know if I would. I don't know if I would take that chance in the capacity as a member of parliament, as a leader of an organization, as a representative in the Grand Bahama jurisdiction, and more specifically the Freeport jurisdiction. I don't know whether or not I would do that. I don't know if I would do that. I look at these things and we make this kind of a determination as we look at these things, and we look at it. And we want to be as decent as possible as we look at these things. But if it quacks like a duck, if it walks like a duck, if it talks like a duck, if it tastes like a duck, I think it must be a duck. And this is it. This is the speculation that causes, when I see your relentless agitation, advocation, passion being spewed on a particular matter that the body of your particular organization does not carry. As a leader, the body of your organization doesn't carry the spirit of, they don't carry the same spirit and sentiment that you have as it relates to this particular matter. They don't. David Thompson don't carry the same spirit that you have. Omar Isaacs, when he stepped up, wanted to be able to kind of genuflect to you and give you the opportunity, but his spirit and determination is elsewhere, with asking a question about someone who sat in the front of the the Rand Memorial Hospital for 24 hours or more. Okay? Kwesi Thompson sought to be able to articulate to fortify your position and fumbled significantly. Hubert Ingram said absolutely nothing, and he was a part of this particular organization. He was the one who signed this in 1994. Hubert Ingram said nothing. You're not getting any support from the people who are learned, who were involved, from the people who support you on the team. You're not getting any assistance. You're not getting that kind of that push to assist in these particular capacities. You're not getting that. You're not getting that. This is a difficult thing to talk about. No one is saying anything. No one is saying anything. And so it seems as though there is an agenda that you carry. For all intents and purposes, from perception standpoint, from being able to identify this only from the superficial, not understanding the cards and what exists behind the veil, we're seeing you relentlessly agitate in one form or another as the leader of the opposition as a leader of the opposition in the House of Assembly for the Commonwealth of the Bahamas. Grand Bahama deserves an opportunity to be able to row with all of us. There's no segregation. There's no separation. There's no supremacy. There's no elevation. Grand Bahama is a part of the Bahamas. And for far too long, we've sat in this particular capacity with expectations that Grand Bahama would take care of itself. Whilst the young, the youthful, those particular persons who are talented, capable, are now turning to alcoholics and homosexuals and prostitutes on Grand Bahama. And Joneses on Grand Bahama because of the lack of opportunity, and no one ever allowed them to expand their mind beyond the rock. We're talking about all the wrong things. Let Grand Bahama Port Authority or Grand Bahama Power Company get sell. What the dickens? It doesn't make a difference. What the big deal is? The big deal is. With the acquisition of the properties here in Nassau, these big properties that get sold, 297 persons just get fired and let go, and their positions became redundant at the Grand Ukiah. These things aren't new to us. Xanadu Beach saw these particular things. The Royal, the Princess Country Club, Princess Casino and Country Club, they saw these things. Come on, let's be, the Pharmachem saw this. Borco at one point would have seen this. Syntex saw this. Come on, stop playing. We're not unfamiliar to transitioning industry in Grand Bahama. We're not. And every time that there was a transition, no one ever said, well, how would you lose your job? Hey, listen, we're going to give you a reduction on power to see if you can catch yourself for 90 days. No one has ever done that. The power company don't care what you have and what you didn't have. Whilst the island around it crumbles significantly, the power company steadily, consistently, persistently went up. They went up. And now it's time for us to be able to evaluate, make a determination as to whether or not this is a good move. Hey, listen, you're subject to the same rules, regulations, and principles that apply to me and everybody else. I don't understand what you're saying. This business. This is a business reaction and transaction. This business, what is your intent to have this kind of a conversation? What are you saying to me? That you're above these particular matters? You're not. The Grand Bahama Power Company is subject to the same rules, regulations, and principles that govern every other industry that fell on its face in Grand Bahama. Let's be clear about this. Let's be clear about this. Okay? Let's be clear about it. The same principles that apply to Old Bahama Bay. The same principles that applied to Gin Sumar. The same principle that applied to the airport, the same principles that apply to Al Lukiah, to the Reef Village, to Breakers Club, to Lighthouse Point, to Port Lukiah Marina, to the straw vendors that exist in Grand Bahama, to the deprivation, to in 8 Mile Rock when you go down to Sunset Village, to Fields on the back road, to West End by Robert Dem. Every single principle that applies to the fact that it's open and closed. From thus you came, to thus you shall return. Blessed be the name of the Lord. There is this relentless determination to ensure that everything enshrined by those particular oligarchs that exist in this particular space stay stapled. That's what you want. You seem like you're fighting hard that these people keep their leg, arm, elbow in Grand Bahama. They are showing you with evidence that they need to be able to find the financial wherewithal to ensure that they could be able to cause the city, the community, the island to become buoyant again. They can't do it. They're looking for relationships the world over to be able to bring and selling parts and selling concepts and selling ideas and talking about investments and talking about these particular things. And Grand Bahama still has not seen an economic push. A jump start. No one has been able to come to Grand Bahama and hit it with the proverbial defibrillator. No one has been able to come to Grand Bahama and ensure that Grand Bahama can live again. And people leaving every Jesus day. You got people retired in Grand Bahama, got to pay. They ain't got no more house note in 8 Mile Rock. None. They ain't got no house mortgage, nothing. But my God, you think they do? One time ago, Grammy would have paid a whole bill. Now she got to say, put something on that for me, baby. Well, she ain't saying that. Mommy, them must pay her bill for her. But these are the retired people in our communities. The youth factor is moving out of Grand Bahama. It's like trying to tell y'all, these rooms that y'all come out of, when y'all open your mouth up to the public, you never take into consideration. Y'all say, I stand on behalf of the good people of Marco City. I stand on behalf of the good people of West Grand Bahama and Bimini. I stand on behalf of the good people of 8 Mile Rock. I stand on behalf of the good people of Central Grand Bahama and Pine Ridge and so forth and so on. But you have not gone to these people and consulted with them. You haven't. Because if you'd done that, you would know independent F&M and PLP stand on the same line as it relates to the fact that the energy is too high in Grand Bahama. You would know that. And I think you do know that. This argument to indicate that the government may not necessarily be the right person to purchase, we did not consider that when the Free National Movement purchased the hotel and paid $1 million a month, money that we did not have, just to be able to keep the air conditions on so mold and mildew doesn't build up in Breakers Key and in Lighthouse Point and in the convention center. You stand here as a proponent for an oligarch for these particular people who have made hundreds and millions of dollars for themselves and their shareholders. And now we sit desperate as Grand Bahamians, scattered all about like the children of Israel. All over the world, Grand Bahamians exist, dreaming of a day that they can be able to come back home. Listening to stories about family members who can't afford a light bill. And the government has finally given them an opportunity. Has finally given them an opportunity to be able to get equity, equality, balance, access, opportunity that all other Bahamians have throughout the Bahamas. And you're fighting against it. Who you consulted with, man? And this is why I'm a firm believer that the Free National Movement is still in deep relations with the proverbial or the actual UBP. Because this perpetuation of an oligarch, of the old guard system only exists with these particular persons. No one else continues to benefit. No one benefits from this. There's only a handful of people that benefits from this. And to come to the Bahamian people and say, we work for us or we work for you. Come on, man. You don't. You have never. And this is my job. I can dissect this. But I only asking these questions, man. I only asking these questions. I really don't mean to get you pissed off. I'm not here to be able to get up under your skin and to make you seem, out of touch. That's not what my intent is. But we have to be poised, man. We have to be patient. We have to be calm. We have enough counsel. We have enough counsel. Jesus, 2 o'clock come quick, eh? I was talking my guts out. I thought I did this. I didn't even do this. Man, how would I enjoy that conversation last night with your round table? I appreciate it, guys. He said we need to flesh that out more. It seems like election will be called after Easter. I told you that. And I tell you that. That only makes sense. You think I can give you time to cuss me out for prices that going up as it relates to energy because of what's happening around the world? Leslie indicated last night, no one in their right mind People don't need to be in their damn right mind. Nobody need to be in their right mind to blame you for something. They just need somebody to blame. And whoever's the closest. It's just human beings. So he says, I agree with Leslie that I can see that the PLP will win about 24 to 26 seats. The magic number is first 1 to 21. We did some numbers last night. Some people who I thought were going to win, listening to them, they're indicating that there are some people that are not doing so well from the party's perspective. Now, we had these people in the winning column, and then some others that we did not necessarily have in the winning column. They are coming to us and saying that they're doing well. Like, for instance, we had Patricia DeVoe in the winning column. Information that I'm receiving from the ground in Bamboo Town is that Dwayne Sands is making a hell of a push for it. And he has a sort of a fire in his eye with his determination to win. And they're not sure if Patricia can be able to get that because of her immobility. Her lack of being able to move from space to space, from door to door, from space to space to get things done. This is just conversations, okay? So it says, he does not have the temperament. He doesn't have the temperament, in my opinion. I'm not confident that if Pintard wins that he would fall in the same arrogant pit Minnis fell in. I don't think he's arrogant. I don't see arrogance on Pintard at all. I don't see this kind of an egotistical push and arrogance, but there is a desire for separation. And Minnis was a part of Minnis's fault. Minnis comes from a different generation, so that desire for separation and for you to be able to see him different from Ingram, he became arrogant and cold. That's his generation. That's his generation. Okay. Minnis is an older man. He's become arrogant and cold. For you to be able to see that there's a contrast between him and Ingram and make you to understand that I'm not Ingram. He has been arrogant and cold. I don't think he's egotistical. I think he has become arrogant and cold with a level of condescension as he elevates in his own mind. That's what Minnis did. Minnis became arrogant and cold. Pintard, with the desire to be able to separate himself from the legacy, tarnished or otherwise, that Minnis has left, has become fluid with his articulation, talkative. Right. So he wishes to be able to show you the difference in perspective by being able to give you a piece of his mind. And sometimes that's good and sometimes that's bad. When he give Lincoln being a piece of his mind, it wasn't the best, not in the public sector, right? And when he cast these sort of a vision about the perspective of what can happen with an FNM-led government, that's good. But he relentlessly provides you a piece of his mind to let you know this is a part of who I am. And so he's become talkative to let you know I'm smart, I'm insightful, I have vision, this determination exists in me, I'm bubbly, and I boil with this sort of a passion to be able to assist you. That is where Pintard is. And sometimes he's putting his foot in his mouth because you still need consultation. You still need to be able to take this amongst the council. The Word of God says to us that, hold on, I got to remember it. It's Proverbs. Hold on. Just give me 2 seconds. Wisdom exists amongst many in the council. Wisdom exists. I can't remember. Let's look for it. biblical verse that speaks to many in a council where wisdom exists. Okay, Proverbs chapter 11. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 4. Where no counsel is, the people fall, but in the multitude of counselors, there is satisfaction. That's what it is. Let's see if you can read the King James Version. All right, let's check out the King James Version. Proverbs chapter 11, verse 4, King James Version. Let's read it. I never liked the NIV version. I can't lie to you. I can't read that, you know. Here we go. King James Version. Where no counsel is, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. Where no counsel is, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, this Proverbs chapter 11, verse 14. Where no counsel is, the people fall. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. And ASV, I don't know what is ASV. Where no wise guidance is, the people faileth. But in the multitude of counselors, there is safety. AMP, Amplified Version. Where there is no wise, intelligent guidance, the people fall and go off course like a ship without a helm. But in the abundance of wisdom, of wise and godly counselors, there is victory. Yeah, I think that's one of the things that I want to be able to leave with the Free National Movement today. And more specifically, with the leader of the Free National Movement. Where there's no counsel, the people fall. Where there's no counsel, the people fall. Yeah. Where leaderships take on this kind of an idea to articulate a vision, a concept, an idea without being able to find counsel, without being able to find its core of being in purpose and ensure that this is aligned with the people of God. Why? Where this does not exist, where a man takes on his own perspective, notion, idea that exists within his own heart, a heart that is of evil above everything. He goes deep within his heart and presents this particular concept to the people without dissecting, without discernment, without an opportunity, without presentation before the God, before the Father, and making this kind of a determination to move forward. Where this does not exist, the people fail. That's what it is. There's no safety in this particular capacity, but in the multitude of counselors, in the indifference, in the diversity of being able to present this to a grouping of people, black, white, indifferent, dumb, smart, with all this time diverse complexity that exists in this particular space. If we could find commonality about these particular matters, there's safety in that. Why? Because the principle says that the voice of the people is, let's see, there's the biblical aspect of that. It's have to get preachy with you sometimes. We leave it out here right now. The voice of the people is the voice of God, biblical reference. Okay, it says that that's not necessarily found in the Bible, but it goes on to Samuel, 1 Samuel chapter 1, verse 78, where Israel demands a king to be like other nations. And God tells Samuel, the people are not rejecting Samuel, they're rejecting him as their king, highlighting that the popular collective voice may oppose God's will. That's what he does. And in Luke, he starts to be able to talk about the crowd's loud demand to crucify Jesus. Their voice began to win out. It is a prime instance where the voice of the people was against God's will. And also in Acts chapter 12, verse 22, when people shouted regarding Herod, this is the voice of a God, not of a man. It is portrayed as pagan adoration resulting in his destruction. Okay. Yeah. It's principle. Well, I want to thank you guys so very kindly for being able to do this today. This has been another daily dose of the foundation, just being able to talk about these things. It's my desire to get back to the foundation of who we are as a people. That's it. That's all this is the entire concept. The media house is called Righteous Realignment Bahamas Studios. That's what it is. This is about being able to get back to the right thing to do, the righteous thing to do, not just the fashionable thing to do, the convenient thing to do, the most feasible, affordable, accessible thing to do, the righteous thing to do, the righteous thing to do. There's some people making decisions and it's not righteous. There's some people making decisions that perpetuate a certain idea and this sort of an egotistical posture and position within themselves. Yeah. And we got to be able to do better than that. It says, one thing we say about Brave is that it seems like being PM has not changed his personality. He is the same. He's still the same man with the same personality. Brave, right? He is saying anything. Yeah, Brave, right. He is saying anything. Not me, boy. You could keep that change. No, Howard. This is text. No, Howard. Whoever is telling you that doesn't know the ground. Sans thought it would be easy to go up against her. Yeah, well, that's what they're telling me. They're telling me that Patricia's having a hard time and she's, not having a hard time, that she's going to have a hard time. Patricia's going to have a hard time because polling divisions that was historically PLPs are at least susceptible to when when Dwayne Sands comes through. That's what they're saying to me. Polling divisions that were historically PLP in the Bambootown constituency are at least pliable. You know what is be pliable? Like clay. They could be molded and shaped and moved the way that you need them to be able to be moved. They are at least pliable. They're not rigid and hard in their convictions that exist for the PLP. They're not rejecting the Free National Movement's candidate in that particular constituency in the person of Dr. Sands. They're at least pliable and listening to what he has to say. So let's read the rest of this. So it says, Sands thought it would be easy to go up against her, and he's finding out that she has created a base. The reason her people like her is because she is real, and he could try, but I don't think that he will pull it off. He seems to like to go up against women. That's not fair. That's not fair. Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Why would you say that? Anyway, let's go. So he says he seems to like go up against women. He feels like he could beat Joe Bett taught him something. And that caused a shift. The Free National Movement in Bambootown, who wanted Wells, won't vote for Sands. They see him as someone who ran from where he was. She has the upper hand. No, Howard, I don't agree. But you will see those people won't vote for Sands. No, listen, I'm not in Bambootown, you know. Y'all don't fight me. I'm not in Bambootown, right? Peter said, Howard, fire, 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 right? I'm not in Bambootown. I don't want you to fight me. I'm not in Bambootown. I am in St. Anne's. Okay. I'm in St. Anne's. The F&Ms are clueless, no vision. We are going progress for the first time, going with progress. You're doing a damn great job, sir. Is this for me? Somebody forward this to me. You're doing a damn great job, sir. Is this mine? Okay, I take it. I take it as mine. I commandeered it. Praise God. All right. So it says, Say, oh, you in the wealthy area, sir? Well, is there enough? I just live in a big state. Praise God, right? Let the anointing fall upon my house. Amen. Praise God. Let the wealth floweth upon my house. Eh? Guys, I want to thank you so very kindly for this show today. I want to thank you all. I hope that we have a heart to heart. And I always like the opportunity to be able to dissect with you and not just tell you something. I always try to quantify it. I always try to be able to justify through the information and the evidence that's presented me why I've said this and what this means. I always try to be able to do that and try to be clear with you and being able to do that. And so I want to thank you. I want to thank you for tuning in with us today. I want to thank you for being here and jamming with me today. Yeah, we're going to dive into it tomorrow again. I got a little event that I go into this evening, so we can check that out. Thursdays I'm off. And tomorrow we're going to be able to have a great conversation on the rundown. It's going to be with Garth again and Ambassador Rowe being able to kind of close off the Lenten season in preparation for Holy Week as we do what we have to do. So Friday, it won't be any... Friday will be the last show until April 7th. So there's not going to be any shows next week at all. All right, for the beginning of April, you won't have any, just like the House of Assembly that has, somebody say, how did the House of Assembly prorogue? Did it dissolve? No. So they just kind of closed off for the Holy Week. When I get back, I believe that they're going to call the election. I really do. All right, so this is going to be sort of a quiet time as we do this, right? Guys, get yourself prepared for it. My daughter just sent me her... My daughter just sent me her registration from Grand Bahama. She's been in Grand Bahama for some time now, so my mommy them seem like they're trying to take her vote. But her vote belongs to me. Amen? She will vote the way I tell her to vote. She got to give me that first vote. That's mine. Amen? That is mine. I can't get away, man. That is mine. I gave my daddy my first vote. I didn't know what to do with that. You think I can let my daddy take that vote from me? The devil is a liar. He better stop it. Don't be whispering nothing to my daughter. He can hear me. He listening to me right now. Don't be whispering nothing. That vote is mine. We will make a determination which direction we go. Seeing my grandmama, she been living down there, her and my son. Their vote is mine. Or else I take their birthright from them. And their birth certificate. Praise Jesus. I always love these conversations. Guys, I want to thank you so much for being able to tune in with us. Hit me up with a shot. Hit me up with the text whenever you get a chance, 827-0111. You'll have a beautiful day. Thank you so much for tuning in. This is The Foundation. We're going to see you tomorrow, God's Prayer Life. I don't know whether or not I should take a day off as it relates to, I don't know if I should take a week off as it relates to the foundation also. Somebody text me. Let me know what your thoughts. Should I take the same week off, right? I asked my son, I say, oh, you're going off from school. Let me tell you, the level of Negro that exists in these children, right? Listen, perpetual Negro that stands tall in these children. The desires, the wants, and sometimes they manipulate it into needs. I asked the little boy, I say, hey, you're off from school on Friday. This is Gabriel now. I say, you're off from school on Friday. What do you want to do? He said, I want to go to Florida. I said, Florida? He said, I want to go to Florida. I couldn't hear him. He said, Florida. I think this dude would say Florida, right? So I said, I don't understand what you're saying, Gabriel. Say it with clarity to me. He said, I want to go to Florida, Daddy. I said, what the hell is this? The dude said he won't go to Florida. I asked him what he want to do. See if we can go watch Kung Fu Panda or, you know what I'm saying? This dude want to go to Florida. He is wilding out. I ain't gonna lie. From here to Jesus, I won't go to Florida too. So I really want to, but I ain't got no money right now. Anyway, praise God. You guys have a beautiful day. I'll see you tomorrow. God's Prayer Lives. Have a good day.
I have a dream where the powerful and the powerless will sit at the same table, where the haves will see the have-nots, not as burdens, but as brothers, where class will not divide us, but conviction will unite us. I have a dream that the oligarchs will remember we must all eat, that the brown-faced neo-colonialists will remember who they are and whose they are. I have a dream that fraternities will build beyond internal architecture into a national bond, that the walls of design will give way to the bridges of brotherhood, not a fraternity of symbol, but a brotherhood of substance. I have a dream that we remain focused, that we stay in our conviction and remain fearless, that we double down, fortified, to return this Bahama land to the foundation.